The following program is brought to you by Naleo TV, the people's platform.
Keeping our island community informed and secure. Be alert, be aware, and care. Together we can have a safe Hawaii.
Aloha, everybody. Welcome to our first episode of the Civil Defense Personal Preparedness Podcast. I'm Jesse Scepe, Staff Officer for Hawaiʻi County Civil Defense, and I'm here with our Administrator, Talmage.
Aloha, I'm Talmage Magno, Civil Defense Administrator. We are Hawaiʻi County's Emergency Management Department, tasked with the responsibility to make sure folks are prepared, the county's ready to respond, and we're able to recover from any disaster that happens on our island.
Right, and so our island is pretty unique, wouldn't you say? We have active volcanoes, we have earthquake, seismic activity. We also have, susceptibility to hurricanes and tsunamis being in the middle of the ocean. Can you tell us about some of the events that we've kind of had recently that might be worthy of note for our viewers?
Sure, we've had a plethora of emergencies, and they range in scale from, nuisance kind of impacts to severe, community events where, people are displaced, houses are lost, and businesses are lost, and so forth. So, it runs full spectrum. Fortunately, most of them are on the lower end scale, kind of keeps us prepared and hopefully gets the public, awareness as to how to be prepared. And fortunately that the big ones, the dramatic ones that wipe out communities don't happen very often, but Hawaiʻi County has had its fair share of tsunami impacts, volcano impacts, earthquakes, big fires. So, we get it all. And that's why we're responsible for making sure that the community is ready and prepared to be resilient to be able to recover from these events.
Right, so we have an all hazards preparedness posture at Hawaiʻi County Civil Defense, especially to, naturally occurring disasters. And if it deems fit, man-made occurring disasters as well. So it all comes down to, preparedness and how we posture ourselves here at the county. And I think one of the great things that we do is communicate with our residents and the community here. Can you tell us a little bit about how we do that?
We do a lot of outreach. We realize how important it is to continuously reach out in multiple ways, whether it's like what we're doing here as far as podcasts, going into communities, participating in preparedness fairs, or just meeting with the communities and the different community groups that are out there, even down to the individuals, meeting with them, taking their calls over the phone, answering their emails. But community outreach is a big deal with preparation, also being able to recover or respond and recover. Also, the part of the communication is folks being able to understand the different alerts, the ways to receive the alerts and be aware of the emergency messages that are going out there. The nation runs what's called the Integrated Public Alert Warning System. It comes in the form of two methods. One will be the emergency alert system, which is an emergency message going over the radios or the scroller that you see on the TVs. The other one is the Integrated Public Alert.
The wireless
WIA.
emergency alerts, WIA, yes?
Yes, and that is over your cell phones. Everybody that has not turned off that function will be receiving a message when that function is utilized by whether it's us, the National Weather Service, or whatever else emergency management department uses, like state emergency management, or even the police departments. Amber Alerts are one that the police stations or the police departments are responsible for. The community being able to receive those messages, understanding what to do when they get those messages, and the understanding comes in with your plans. We urge everybody to make their plans. Part of our community outreach is to help people, motivate them to make their plans. Our community emergency response team has put out a Ohana guide, which kind of labels, some of the things you can do. It also serves as a list that you can put contact numbers and so forth. So, there's a number of products. Like I said, our community emergency response team, CERT, puts that out on the Civil Defense website. We also have all these products available that you can download as well. But being able to get the alerts, refer to your emergency plan for follow-up. That's all critical parts of our message to the community.
Right. So I think you touched on a great point when you mentioned iPause, because a lot of people may not know that the message that they receive on their phone is an iPause function, the wireless emergency alerts. And like Talmage said, when you receive your phone, when you buy it, that will be automatically turned on. So we encourage everybody to leave that function on, because you want to receive those critical emergency alerts when it's life safety information. And we also put out other messaging in non-life safety events, some nuisance events that Talmage mentioned. We recently had that Kona Low, which was a serious weather event, and we put out some messages using our mass messaging system. It is our Everbridge alert system. So we want to encourage all of our viewers, if you are not signed up, you can sign up at our website by opting in, creating an account. You can select what you want to be notified and also how you want to be notified. So we find that's really useful to receive some of that information that could be actionable, could let you know what's going on, what you need to do, or even areas that, that you should avoid. And you can also opt in by texting Hawaiʻi alerts, that's one word, to 888-777. So again, this is a great feature to receive that information, to let you know what's going on. And then when you know what's going on, you know kind of what action to take. And that action can look different for everybody, depending on kind of what your family's needs are, what your individual needs are. Can you tell us about maybe some special considerations you might want to take when you're creating those plans for yourself and your family? So Talmage, where can our residents find out how to register for our Everbridge alerts?
They can find that information. First, go to the county website and look under departments, and under civil defense, you'll see the icon for alerts, and then you can sign up in that by going to that site.
Yeah, so we definitely recommend all our residents signing up and sharing the information with your friends and family.
Well, the key thing that you need to understand is, what are your vulnerabilities? So say, if you live in a modern house built to code, that it could withstand a hurricane, and you'd shelter in place. You'd utilize that as your shelter in a high wind event. But you realize that, the roads that you travel to get out of your property, there's big trees.
Right.
The trees could come down in the winds, block your roads, your egress in and out. Even with your situation with a very strong house, you might consider evacuating, because you don't want to become isolated.
Right.
Or you don't want to be isolated without power and so forth. But if you're off grid, it depends on the individual situation, your vulnerabilities, how you're set up and so forth. So you got to look at that. What are your needs? Do you have medical needs that kind of make it where you'd have to be close to medical centers and so forth?
Right. Then
you don't want to be isolated. Then you might want to go to a shelter, or you might want to go to, make prearrangements with families or friends that you can go be with them during any kind of situation. But pre-planning, having that all talked out, having your communications plan, thinking about the worst case scenario where cell phone service is down. Do you have a rally point that you will go to meet others? Do you have a contact that's out of state that you might be able to get information to that'll be able to pass it on to your other family and so forth. So, like I said, the Ohana Guide spelled this all out, but that's things that you need to think about ahead of time, because when disaster strikes, we're mentally being taxed. You got life safety to think about, others to be thinking about. It's just lowers the stress level when you have this all planned out already.
Right. So what Talmage had said, I'll reiterate, personal preparedness will take you a long way when a disaster happens.
Hey everybody, welcome back. Oh my gosh, another edition of the Fire Prevention Party.
What's up, guys?
What's up? Okay, it's March. So with March, we always think of what's the most infamous thing in March?
Spring break?
Spring break. It's spring break, which is awesome. It's a great time for the kids to take a break from school, families to travel. So one of the things that's synonymous, right, with spring break is road trips. Right? Love road tripping. If you don't love road tripping, I suggest you try it. It's great. Right? Cheap gas station coffee, good music, right? Good times, good tunes. Right? So with all the road trips, and especially here on the island, I mean, so many people are off. There's so many more tourists coming in. The roads get pretty packed.
Yep.
And vehicle safety kind of becomes a thing, right? So it's not just maintaining your vehicle from the oil and tires and that standpoint. But I think one of the things that we're going to talk about is how, when we have these vehicle accidents and incidents with your vehicle, right? There's certain things we can do to make it safer, right? And help you and your family in case there is, God forbid, knock on wood, find some wood.
Yeah.
Okay. So really, let's segue into, I think really important is the type of tools we have that will help people.
Yeah.
And then we'll talk about the tags, because the tags are important.
Yeah. So we're seeing an increase in vehicle accidents
Right.
a lot on the road, especially on our highways. So it's good for you to have some kind of device, whether it's a multi-tool or some kind of safety device to get you out of your vehicle. Right? So we'll just show you kind of some equipment our fire guys have, like this
Pretty cool
small
stuff.
equipment. We kind of say we don't know the name brand, but this isn't a small device that we carry. One is this top area would puncture a glass. It's able to actually break the glass.
Right.
And then you can pull this area out, and it actually has a seatbelt cutter. So when you're in a vehicle, if it God forbid, and it flips, in an area, you kind of a lot of people get pinned in their vehicles. One of the things that entrap them is their seatbelt, especially, passengers or whatever. So this gives you the option of cutting your seatbelt and actually breaking the glass. A lot of the motors in your vehicle, which is the locking motors and everything, get stuck, so you get locked in your vehicle. Our guys usually do break glass if we have to. So this gives you the option of breaking glass inside.
Right. So, because that's kind of an interesting thing, right? Is because we all know we've been driving and we drop something and we go to pick it up and the seatbelt just locks.
Yeah.
And so during an accident, what'll happen a lot of times is that seatbelt will just kind of lock you to the seat.
Tension and device.
Yeah, and it just stays there, right? And you're kind of stuck, and you may or may not be able to get to the release, depending on the situation. So this just gives you, I think, an additional safeguard in
It's
place.
something super cheap.
Yeah, these things
right?
are like what, $5 or something. I mean, yeah.
It comes in like a 2-pack. I think it's like $5.
Yeah, it's pretty reasonably priced.
All different type of brands and whatever, but that's just a safety device that you can carry on your keychain,
right,
or somewhere in your vehicle that you have access to, just in case of emergencies.
Because it's simple. I mean, this thing is pretty cool because you can just slip it over the seatbelt and just slice the seatbelt open.
That's not only for you too. If you somehow drive up to an accident or you see an accident happen, you have a device that can get someone out, right?
Right.
So having some kind of safety devices.
Yeah, and it's just so small and useful. It's kind of one of those things you can carry around.
Just like a multi-tool.
Yeah, it's a cool little multi-tool.
Kind of like our firefighter multi-tool that we have on our helmets.
A lot of guys keep it on their helmets. Yeah.
There's another glass breaking device that we do have.
Yeah, this one is kind of cool too. It's just, you can just kind of give it a
tip.
Put a little pressure on it, it'll break the window. And really why the window thing is such an issue is because sometimes, especially during a vehicle accident, the airbags go off, and in the cab it just gets, because most of us run AC, right, when we're driving. I mean, except my wife, who likes to ride with the windows open for some reason. But, you know, a lot of us are using AC, windows are closed, right, as we're driving. So, you know, if the vehicle stops, and a lot of us don't have the roll down windows anymore. Yep. Do you know my kids didn't even know what those were? Isn't that crazy? Right? Like, you're pretty young, but like, I'm old. And to me, power windows was a luxury item. Yeah. You know what I mean? It wasn't standard. Like, now it's standard on cars, right? So, I mean, obviously, if your vehicle gets in an accident, electricity's out, the battery disconnects, whatever reason, I mean, you can't just roll down your window and climb out, right? So I think having these tools, or a tool like it, something that can help you get out of the car, is pretty important. Yeah. It'll help a lot, I think.
Yeah, so if you use this, you know, it doesn't matter if there's tint or not. It'll still shatter the glass, right?
Yeah.
So just safety tools to have. Have some kind of safety tool in your vehicle.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Yeah, that's really important. And you know, with that, you know, this other thing that we're going to show you guys now, it's a Keiki ID tag. These things are made specifically for younger children too, that have car seats and boosters and stuff like that. So, you know, you were telling me a really kind of crazy story about a vehicle accident that happened.
So it happened earlier this year. Mel was driving late at night, had two Keiki in the back in their car seats. Mel drove off the road, ended up, I don't know if he passed away or not, but the two Keiki in the back were alive, right? So this device, what it is an identification device, right? So this can be a lot of different ones you can get online. This can stick to the side of the car seat.
Right.
What it does.
Yeah, can I see that real quick? Yeah. Because that's pretty cool. Yeah. Yeah.
So it has some kind of shiny identification that our guys would see. And it has this, in case of emergency, pull here. And it's a sticker that actually, it's a wristband. And it has contacts in case of emergency, name, date of birth, state, county, everything. So for us, if you have kids, this is something very important. I have kids. Yeah. So a lot of identification, a lot of times when our medics come and they see the kids, as something that they try to get the kids out of the vehicle. Right. They transport into a medic goes to the hospital. We have no idea who these kids are, especially if their parents, the front people in the front, if they did pass away,
or something, or even just get hurt to the point where you can't communicate with them, right? Yeah.
We have no idea who these people are.
Yeah.
Right. And the kids are, they don't know. There's no identification to the kids for however long. It could be a really long time before police figure out who it is, who these kids are. And then they contact, you know, whoever the parents are, grandparents, or whoever is that contact point. So this is something simple that can identify who the next contact is, number. Can you meet me at the hospital?
Right.
Your kids have been in an accident. Can you meet me at the hospital for this? You know.
Well, I think this is interesting too, because we think about it in a typical situation, right? Where, you know, the parents are driving their own kids around and something happens and we can kind of identify that parent and that children and, you know, get their ID and kind of tag them together. But I'll give you a great one is if your wife's parents are taking your kids, right? And they're driving and God forbid something happens. And now their last names don't line up. They're not sure, right? I mean, it's this thing is much like our medical form because we're trying to get information to our guys faster so that they can help, right? And the last thing you want really is think about a kid that's been in an accident. They're scared. They're worried. And we always try our best, I think, to calm them as much as we can. But the reality is the faster we can get a loved one there that actually knows them, can help comfort them, you know, give us information. I mean, there might even be medical information about the children that we're not aware of, right? They might have medical issues too. They might have medications, whatever it is, right? I think those things are also important. So this thing is really, really neat. You can actually, like you said, you can stick it right on the side of the car seat. And then it's just a simple, because these things on the side, they have adhesive here. So basically what you're doing is you're putting this tag on the side. It has your kid's basic information in it and contact who we want to contact. And we can just yank this thing right off, attach it to them, and then get them to the hospital, right? And if you think about like road tripping. So let's say you're in Hilo, you go to Kona. I mean, that's a pretty long road trip for somebody from Hilo to have to come and help your kids if they're at North Hawaii or if they're at Kona Community Hospital, right? So if we can provide information quick, help the doctors out, help the medics out, I think that's really key, right? And honestly, I wouldn't want my kids sitting there any any
longer than
they have to. Yeah. I mean,
Exactly.
not scared, right? You want a loved one there that can help them, take care of them, and guide them through, right?
Yeah. So this is there's all kinds of different ones. This one is patented into where it's a wristband for the kids, right? It can actually be a wristband for the kids.
Right.
Kind of like when you go to the hospital.
Yeah, they just have a basic wristband. Yeah. That way the kids, you don't have to carry stuff. It doesn't get dropped or lost. Or
so for our first responders, this is something it's kind of like newer.
Yeah.
It's a lot of newer.
Yeah. So check it out. Find the tags. Like I said, thank you for the opportunity. Our friends in Naleo here, all of you watching at home, we truly appreciate your time. Once again, thank you again from your friends at the Fire Prevention Party.
I am Officer Kaipo Aurello of the Hawaiʻi Police Department, and I'm here to ask for your assistance in locating individuals who you'll see in just a moment. Our department depends on you to work with us by acting as our eyes and ears out in the community. If you provide an anonymous tip through Crime Stoppers, you may be eligible for a reward of up to $1,000. Crime Stoppers is a volunteer program run by ordinary citizens like you who want to keep our community safe. Here's how it works. First, get a code. Next, use your code to track your status and then collect your reward. It's that easy. Here are some individuals we need your help in locating. Please call if you know their whereabouts. We are looking for 42-year-old George David Summers, who is wanted on one outstanding warrant with a total bail of $183,000. Summers is described as having a slender build, is 6 feet 1 inch tall, 175 pounds, with brown hair and brown eyes. He also has a tattoo of Together Forever on his right wrist. Summers is known to frequent the Waimea, Kauai, and Waikoloa regions. Help us locate 38-year-old Jared Anthony Fiorentine, who is wanted on an outstanding warrant with bail totaling $100,000. He has an average build, is 5 feet 10 inches tall, weighs around 200 pounds, with short brown hair and green eyes. He also has a tattoo of a sun on his right shoulder blade. His last known address is in Waimea, and he is known to frequent the Waimea, Waikoloa Village, and Kona areas. Be on the lookout for 56-year-old William Swayze, who is wanted on one outstanding warrant with a total bail of $20,000. He has an average build, is 6 feet 2 inches tall, weighs around 175 pounds, with blonde hair and brown eyes. His last known address is in Waikoloa Village, and he is known to frequent the Waikoloa Village and Waimea areas. We are looking for 42-year-old Cole Race Joaquin, who is wanted for a $50,000 arrest warrant. He is 5 feet 7 inches tall, 150 pounds, with black hair and brown eyes. He is known to frequent the Puna, Hamakua, and Ka'u districts. Help us locate 39-year-old Casey Huia Sam, who has 2 outstanding warrants totaling $35,000. Known to frequent the Honoka'a and Waimea areas, he is 5 feet 10 inches tall, 190 pounds, with black hair and brown eyes. Let us know if you know the whereabouts of 31-year-old Clyde Loa Jr., who is wanted for 2 outstanding warrants totaling $100,000, an arrest warrant for escape, and also a Paris warrant. Loa Jr. is described as 5 feet 9 inches tall, 225 pounds, with long, wavy black hair, uncut facial hair, and brown eyes. He is known to frequent the Hilo, Puna, and Ka'u areas. Loa Jr. escaped from Halenani Correctional Facility in Hilo on December 13, 2024, and should be considered armed and dangerous. Be on the lookout for 49-year-old Travis Burnett, who is wanted on a Paris warrant for terroristic threatening, abuse of a family household member, assault, and theft. Burnett is 6 feet tall, 250 pounds, with black hair and brown eyes. He is known to frequent the Black Sands area in Lower Puna and drive a gray Honda Ridgeline pickup truck with Hawaii license plate ZBH936. Please help us locate 46-year-old Christopher Souza, who is wanted on a criminal arrest warrant totaling $800, as well as for questioning in a felony agricultural theft investigation. Souza is 5 feet 9 inches tall, 170 pounds, with brown hair and brown eyes. He is believed to be in the Hilo area. Be on the lookout for 29-year-old Devin Preston, who is wanted on a criminal arrest warrant totaling $5,000, and for questioning in a felony theft case. He is 5 feet 11 inches tall, 230 pounds, with brown hair and green eyes. He is believed to be in the Hilo area. Please help us locate 30-year-old Riley Santos, who is wanted on 2 arrest warrants totaling $2,800 and for questioning in 3 criminal investigations. Santos is 5 feet 9 inches tall, 160 pounds, with black afro hair and brown eyes. He is believed to be in the Hilo area. Be on the lookout for 41-year-old Ka'oio Namamo London, who is wanted on a criminal arrest warrant totaling $50,000 and for questioning in 2 criminal investigations. London is 5 feet 6 inches tall, 155 pounds, with short black hair and brown eyes. He is known to frequent the Hilo area. We are looking for 40-year-old Keone Teixeira, who is wanted on 4 criminal arrest warrants totaling $12,500. Teixeira is 5 feet 8 inches tall, 210 pounds, with brown hair and brown eyes. He is believed to be in the Hilo area. Call us if you know the whereabouts of 35-year-old Jason Mitchell, who is wanted on an outstanding warrant and 7 APBs. Mitchell has a thin build, is 5 feet 9 inches tall, 145 pounds, with short black hair and brown eyes. He is known to frequent the lower and upper Puna areas. Please help us locate 32-year-old Christopher Matos, who is wanted on 2 outstanding warrants and 3 APBs. Matos has a large build, is 5 feet 11 inches tall, 195 pounds, with short black hair and brown eyes. He is known to frequent the lower and upper Puna area. Matos is also known to be armed and dangerous and should not be approached. Hawaiʻi Police Department requests your assistance in locating 38-year-old Kealiʻiokekai Kamanu, who is wanted for 2 outstanding warrants and 3 APBs. Kamanu is described as having a medium build, 5 feet 11 inches tall, 180 pounds, with black hair and brown eyes. He frequents Lower Puna, mostly the Kalapana and Leilani Estates areas. Call us if you know the whereabouts of 28-year-old Andrew Amon, who is wanted for 4 bench warrants totaling $20,100, as well as for questioning in connection with other criminal investigations. Amon is 5 feet 5 inches tall, 130 pounds, with black hair and brown eyes. He is known to frequent the Hawaiian Ocean View Estates area in Ocean View. Please be on the lookout for 30-year-old Luis Sanchez, who is wanted on 5 outstanding warrants totaling $10,000. Known to frequent the Ocean View and Puna areas, Sanchez is described as being 5 feet 6 inches tall, 120 pounds, with brown hair and brown eyes. Help us locate 41-year-old Wade Baji, who is wanted on 1 no-bail warrant and 2 outstanding warrants totaling $2,000. He is also wanted for questioning relative to a theft, terroristic threatening, and criminal property damage investigation. Baji is described as being 6 feet 2 inches tall, 250 pounds, with black hair and brown eyes. He is known to frequent and reside in the Na'alehu area. As always, we want to thank you for your assistance in helping us to locate these individuals. Tipsters who prefer to remain anonymous may call the island-wide Crime Stoppers number at 808-961-8300 and may be eligible for a reward of up to $1,000. Crime Stoppers does not record calls or use caller ID. Hawaii Island's Most Wanted is a project of Crime Stoppers Hilo Inc., which is a partnership of the business community, the media, and the police. It was inspired by the national TV show America's Most Wanted. I am Officer Kaipo Aurello of the Hawaii Police Department. Mahalo for watching.